Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved custom scenarios. Found a scenario we're gonna play, and I don't remember if it was a request or one that I found on my own. I just had it written down somewhere. The Rapture, End of Humanity. It's got 3 stars currently. Modest, but you never know. Some of these 3-star scenarios end up being a lot better than you think. By MK Boy, I guess. From the creator of The Last of Plagues. The Rapture happened. After the World War III, a period of great tribulation, sign of an incoming apocalypse, billions of people all around the world disappeared one day, leaving cities almost empty. Billions? Okay, so I don't know of any other rapture in other faiths aside from Christianity. That's the only one that I'm aware of. And given that there are only a few billion people on the planet currently, and I'm pretty sure that only a few 100 million, or maybe a billion of them are Christians. This doesn't feel right. But maybe this says that far in the future, when the planet has like 20 billion people, that's when we'll have World War III. I don't know. While the West is in crisis, North Africa and the East continue on almost normal life. Because apparently, in North Africa and the East, there is no Christianity. Meanwhile, a deadly morb spreads around. Sent by who? God? The devil? Control the plague, choose the path. Transmissions, create the apocalypse cult. Ooh. Y'all know that I'm a big fan of creating cults. Even when I'm not trying to, it just sort of seems to happen. Bacteria type, ATP boost, Darwinist, Aquatic Extremophile, and Symptostasis, normal difficulty, Morbus Tenebrae. Tenebrae, whatever. The Rapture happened after the Great Tribulation caused by World War III, when the world avoided complete destruction but reported huge damages. Billions of people disappeared, leaving cities almost empty. Who remains faces a godless world in crisis. Is this the end? You know, one of the hypotheses I had from Christian theology, wouldn't it be really interesting if after, like, you know, supposing it's all true here, like, if the rapture happens, you know how they say that, like, the earth will be destroyed and there's gonna be a heaven and a hell? What if the old earth is the hell, and you're just stuck there forever while all the good people got to leave? That'd be kind of fun. I don't know. Where will you start? Exterminate the remaining sinners. The sinners shall be purged! Now let's start in Saudi Arabia. I mean, if the West is actually devoid of most population, then starting in Saudi Arabia should still be a pretty good choice. Millions of people have died and several cities have been destroyed. Massive losses in the USA, China, Russia, Korea, Saudi Arabia, Middle East, India, and Pakistan. War. War never changes. Oh, good. Fallout references. I really hope that's what it is. Transmission. Ooh, we got a lot of options here today. All right, we have skin. Survive on human skin consuming dead cells. The plague can be transmitted by skin contact. Urban. Okay. Is there even an urban country in the game anymore? Because I feel like those all got wiped off the map. Saliva. Humidity. All right. Blood. Pore. Dark aura. Infectees are surrounded by a dark and infective aura. Increased infectivity and effectiveness in sinful rich countries. Because the rich countries are clearly just rampant with sin, while the poor are pious as heck. Although somehow they got ignored from the Rapture. They were Rapture rejects, I guess. I don't know. Cyanide and happiness reference. Infectees feel the need to change life and travel to far places, like they were escaping from something, but how do you escape from yourself? Like 72 hours of straight meditation or something, I don't know. Swine, susceptible to infection for the wealthy, insects for the hot, bats for the rural, and possession. Sometimes the infectee will feel the need to touch or spit on others in order to infect them. Increases infectivity. Oh my god. Well, they all deserve to be left away from heaven, I'm just saying. Spitting on people like that for no good reason. Who do you think you are? Headache. Infectees suffer from an annoying headache. It is caused by the plague, which is digging its way into the host's brain. And nausea. Suffer from nausea and have difficulty digesting food. The earth is also nauseated by the many sins of humanity, and so is God. Time for judgment. I like that. I like that a lot. It's kind of snippy. Genetic hardening. Variotoforme. The plague tends to mutate more quickly due to increased DNA instability. Dark spores. A huge emission of spores to infect a random country. And, of course, our heat and drug resistance. So, I don't know if we're going to have Trojan planes. Because I kind of looked like there was an option for that in the transmissions here with the need to escape. But then you also factor in the extra DNA instability and mutation chance and the spores. And this kind of becomes a cross between a bacteria, a Nurex worm, a fungus, and a virus. Which is a little bit weird. All right, starting in the... Well, let's see. Poor countries. What is Saudi Arabia considered to be now? It's still considered to be hot and arid. Okay. So don't want to be there. Don't want to be there. Rural, no. I guess we'll go with insects, because that's kind of my only major option. And you know what? We'll just have people start spitting on each other for no good reason. Why not? The idea amuses me. No more infectivity from me. Okay, so let's go for the headache and some nausea. That opens up a lot of different options. Eye bleeding. The victim's eyes will bleed, then they will cry, and their tears will be red as the waters of the Nile. I like this guy's style. It's funny. Victims will have severe hallucinations, visions of the past or the future, horrific scenarios of death and suffering. Oh, they just have to play Plague Inc. again and again? Got it. Confusion. Their mind will be obscurated by a fog of confusion, which will limit the ability of reasoning. And psychosis. Moments of calm will turn to sadness and irrational hatred against others. And polyphagy. One of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony, compulsory eating disorder, never-ending hunger. You may fill your stomach, but your soul is still shallow. I really do like this style. I'm not being facetious. Like, I think that's kind of funny. Like, even reading that, I'm like, this is good. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go for... I don't want wealthy regions. There's a couple of different wealthy regions transmissions. I really wanted some, like, air transmission or something, but that does not appear to exist. I could go for some Spore Bursts to try and get a little bit of an early start somewhere else, and let's do that. Okay, so we make it up into the Balkan states. I'm going to do one more, and hopefully... Okay, well, Greenland is not the worst thing to get for free. I was hoping for something like North or South America. I don't know. Anything along that line just to kind of get me into another continent so we have a faster spread to make up for my lack of an air transmission. Legion reappears! The private organization Legion reappears after years of silence. Their leader, Augusto, declared, "Decades ago we saved the world from Agent MK-44, and now we must protect it during the apocalypse." I think there's a references to the Last of Plague scenario, which I don't really remember much about. So I'm trusting that it's really good. I'm not really worried about using my Spore Bursts effectively here because we already got Greenland for free. So like, who cares? Let's go for the Dark Aura. I think that I saw that leads to the creation of the Apocalypse Cult, and if I have an opportunity to create a cult, then I kind of feel obligated to do so. You know? I mean, at this point, it's just sort of expected. I'd be letting people down if I didn't. Ben Shapiro ascends into heaven. Wait, what? After destroying 2 libtards with eye lasers, decided to ascend into heaven. He just decided. He's like, you know what? I've decided I want to go to heaven. Maybe even there he will destroy leftists with facts and logic. Okay, this is epic. Next, meme. Good lord, what am I doing with my life? Why do I know these things? I blame my wife. I blame my wife so hard. All right, let's see. Dark Aura 2, infectivity in the rich countries. Seriously, Ben Shapiro just decides... You know what? I think that God's gonna let me into heaven because I've been a really good person, and I have transformed the world for the better with my facts and logic. New minor disease is spreading in Saudi Arabia. They found me. Oh no. Whatever shall we do? Dark energy. The dark energy emitted by infectees is now visible with the naked eye. Ab itsidis diabole, libera nos domine, te rogmus adunos. I don't know how you speak that Latin stuff. I was not raised in the Catholic Church. Anxiety. Infectees have the painful sensation they are wasting their time in their life. Anxiety will kick in every when and disturb them. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good and all. Instead, I'm going to have people bleed tears. Legion ready to fight, ready to defend the world from diseases and other menaces. If Morbus Tenebrae will be a danger, it will be eliminated. Hundreds of people are joining the organization. Now it's becoming like the frickin' zombie plague. This is like a mix of everything. All right, Saudi Arabia's working on the cure. So what does this do? Terrific burst of spores infect multiple countries. All right, let's go for it. And we were able to get into South America at least. Our spread is really severely contained, and that's kind of what I'm worried about right now. Like, it is proving significantly harder to get around than I think I was expecting. Let's see. I'm looking around trying to find out what countries would be considered to be wealthy at this point. Have these changed? Because Europe, even though it's been decimated and has, like, no population to speak of, is still considered to be wealthy. I guess the looters get to take everything that's left. Alright, well, then, what What should we do? Saliva, humid countries? Let's try for a little bit of humid transmission and hope that I can get into India. Do you even still have a population? You do still have a 1.4 billion population, so that's pretty good. I'm looking for anywhere I can get more DNA at this point. Because we're kind of slowing down. I'm not spreading easily. We are getting around in Africa reasonably well. I'm going to go for the dark energy. I know it's a little bit more severe, but a little bit more severity is not a bad thing at this point. I kind of need more DNA. Probably should have done that before going for the Spore Burst, but I really wasn't sure how it was going to work. Do you want to go for more possession? Sure, why not? Sinister Mind. The possession is complete. Now their minds is absorbed, not are absorbed, by the darkness. Their mind is absorbed. Exorcimes te omnis immundus spiritus omnis satanica potestas. Are these like lines from Supernatural or something? Are we like doing an exorcism? Okay, if somewhere in the course of this video, one of you find that you've just been exorcised of a demon, you're welcome. I take full responsibility. Apocalypse cult. Infectivities. Sorry, gosh dang it. Can I speak? Okay, I'll give you guys a little bit of fair warning. I am recording this shortly after having finished my last Minecraft video, for which I was up until 5:30 a.m. working on it. In the last 24 hours, I have had 1.5 hours of sleep. I'm functioning fairly well, but apparently I don't know how to read the word infectees. So that's a thing. Their mind completely aware of the plague will found their own cult of the apocalypse. Increase infectivity and severity. I mean, at what point is that just basically another Cthulhu cult, though? Come on. Isn't that basically what they're going for? Returning of the ancient ones and all that stuff? Same kind of concept. It's pretty severe, though. I'm not sure I want to go for that right now. We will go for blood for some extra symptoms. That does unlock the blood disease. Blood is like the lymph for a tree, and when the lymph is rotten, the tree will rot too. Humans are doomed. Lack of comma. Okay, this is very poetic. Where is this coming from? Is this something like, I don't know, Dante's Inferno or something? Pyorrhea, or however you say that. Bacteria cause teeth to rot and fall on the ground, leaving the mouth empty. They may not have a perfect smile anymore, but why should they smile in this world? Good question. This world is terrible and miserable. Legion declares alert level 3. Due to morbus tenebrae, they consider the plague for what it is, a terrible menace, and will try to stop it in every possible way. Why do you guys care? I mean, really, they are active in Italy now, apparently. The infectees will be quarantined in Italy. Alright, fine, so it's not going to spread as effectively as before. I can live with that. Eternal hunger. Polyphagy will transform into an eternal hunger. Hungry people will transform into feral beasts. May they feed on your flesh as well. I think we'll hold off on the flesh feeding for a little bit. We could go for urogenital expansion, though. Bacteria survive inside the blood or in kidneys. It can now be transmitted by more bodily fluids. Perfect. Lungs expansion. Bacteria survive inside the lungs and can be transmitted more easily by breath. Certain environments. How much you want to bet that's the air transmission I was looking for previously? Just a little guess. We are still not spreading around nearly fast enough. We're going to go for need to escape. And it looks like that might have qualified as another Spore Burst. I can't tell for sure, but I don't see any evidence of a Neurax worm, which is fair, like it shouldn't be, because we aren't the Neurax worm. Never-ending travel, infinite wandering. Every place just doesn't feel right, and the plague spreads far and wide. Queris quare te fuga ista non adiuvet tecum fugis. Seneca. Whatever. What the heck is Seneca? I feel like that's something I ought to know. All right, we're going to go for the Apocalypse Cult. Just cuz. The Apocalypse Cult appears, and apparently they are Guy Fawkes enthusiasts. Some folks decide to create a cult based on the current apocalypse. They will try to find the meaning of the situation and save our world. Choose their path through symptoms. Yes, symptoms. You read that right, and I stand by it. Actually, it's kind of like, what's the, oh gosh. The Happy Hotel. The Happy Hotel. What's that? What's the new animated series that's currently being worked on? That looks like it's you know, a demon wants to reform hell or something like that. I'm kind of thinking that's appropriate for this situation. Is it the freaking Happy Hotel? I think it's the Happy Hotel. You should look that up. It actually looks pretty good. Necromancy. Members, oh good, we have a bunch of cult-centered symptoms. I love it. Members of the cult will recall the deads back on Earth. The streets will be full of undeads. Okay, that is Dante. Hey, what do you know? Cult of Death. Members of the Apocalypse Cult will develop rituals based on death. I.e., they just plop over dead. It was my goal all along. Ritual cuts. During rituals, cultists will cut themselves to perform dark magic. More Dante. And homicide. Members of the cult will kill innocents. All right, so if I want it... Well, they say they kill innocents, but I see no lethality coming out of that. That's disappointing. Kindness. Wait a minute. Oh, we can choose which direction we want the cult to go. They can either embrace the death or try to reform Earth. What? Members of the Apocalypse cult will try to be kind to others. This is the way. Hatred and greed led to the war. Respect and generosity are the true solution. Cooperation. Different groups of the Apocalypse cult will help each other to spread the word. This is the way. A single voice can do little, but many of them can break a storm. Charity. Members of the Apocalypse cult will help poor infectees, donating food, money, and other goods. Even the unluckiest will know again what it means to be cared for, I guess. Proselytism. Members of the Apocalypse cult will spread the word far and wide. Nations of all the world will know their way of peace and love. Old rivalries may be forgotten. Should we try to save the world for once? I mean, it feels like it goes against the entire point of the disease. I'm inflicting terrible things upon these people. Why tie my hands behind my back? No, we're gonna raise the dead and decide that we like death. Death is cool. Death metal is the best metal. And now we have anxiety as a result. Well, all right. Sinister Mind. We'll go for that. And then I guess I'm gonna go for Bat 1 for some extra world transmission since I seem to be struggling a little bit. The Apocalypse cult causes revolt. Managed to revolt in Central Africa. Now the government must deal with a dangerous mob of fanatic people. Fanatical people. We have not gotten into Iceland, and there's no way to get into Iceland. Uh-oh. Well, Brazil's been overthrown now. There's no port in Iceland, I just realized, guys. Crap. I guess I have to save the Spore Bursts. Gosh dang it. All right, restart. Okay, I've managed to get into every country in the world with no problems. Now the question is what to do with them. Do we go ahead and have the cult start killing people? Like, what happens if you get all 4 of these? Doesn't seem to lead to anything in particular. I mean, I could just go for straight-up lethality, and I think I need to. All right. Every slightly hit to the head can smash the brain and kill the host. I need some lethality, because otherwise I'm not going to get very much DNA, and that cure is going surprisingly fast, considering, like, most of the world's population is supposed to be gone. Oh, gosh dang it. The Christians were way too effective at proselytizing. Way too many people got raptured. I need more people to infect. All right, there's no one healthy left in the world. They've all been infected. Crud. We're in trouble. I may have to do this again. Food torture. Not torture, torture. The union of polyphagy and gingival disease causes infectees terrible pain when they eat and a strong need to eat often. So... Oh, and now we're kind to each other, apparently. Be kind, rewind. Yeah, that is the ultimate torture. You're eternally hungry, but it hurts you and kills you every time. And the Apocalypse cult has fragmented into rival factions, apparently. The latter is more satanic-like and spreads violence, and one is more peaceful, which will conquer the world. Whichever one I finish first, presumably. Not that it matters, because we've been freaking cured! Oh, finally. Okay, this took me a couple more attempts to actually beat this, but I think I've got it down. I think the cult is a trap. Like, it's an easy way to spend a lot of DNA without any guarantee of outright winning, and if you don't have lethality generating you a good amount of steady DNA points, it's really difficult to outrace the cure. So this time around, I just said, screw that whole cult nonsense, and play like I normally would. Keep the severity low long enough to get around the world, and then once I feel like I have a pretty good foothold in a lot of countries, start ramping up the lethality, and now we actually seem to be in a winning position. The end is near! The majority of humanity already died, and more people die each day. Without a cure, the world we know is going to face a dramatic end. This is the end, again. After the first end with the Rapture, and now is just the end for those who were left behind. Sucks to be you! By the way, there was another pop-up that we missed that I didn't want to show because I was in the middle of trying to play again, but Cyber Trump decides to make America great again. And in other news, Hillary still blames the Russians. I don't know. All right, that is actually what it said. I'm not trying to make a joke. That is actually exactly what it said. Let's go for mummification. There is necrosis. Cannibalism is extremely effective. I mean, yeah, if you play it like a normal disease and stop trying to go for the funny cult stuff, it's not that difficult a scenario. What's actually mostly tricky, I find, is that there are very few traveling paths between Europe and North America. Those are more or less gone. So you really have to either get lucky with a boat to Canada pretty early on, or You really do want to rely on that fungal burst getting you into either North or South America early enough just to have a chance to get a good spread in the two continents when you're ready to ramp up the lethality. Combos, zombie panic, cannibalism and necrosis transforms infectees into zombies effectively because they eat people and it still spreads from their dead corpses or something. I mean, they're not actually walking dead, but I'm sure it's still a good subject for some sort of a horror film if you want. Anyway. All right, well, we're out of DNA, so let's just go ahead and run out the clock. And 3, 2, 1. More DNA, thank you. Wow, okay, now they're holding out on me. Come on, just plop over dead. Thank you. Okay. Morbus Tenebrae has successfully eliminated all life on Earth. It's actually a really good scenario. It's difficult. Changing up the population and the traveling between the West in general is, well, difficult. It really changes the way you play a little bit. Hard to get around all the continents. Starting off in India seems to have been a much better choice, so I'm glad that I ended up doing that. Yeah, either start in India, probably not China, because they got decimated in World War III. I think India did too, but they still seem to work pretty well. So starting in India seems like a winner. Get a good spread in Europe and Asia and Africa, and then once you feel like you've gotten into most countries, go ahead and start rolling the dice with some spore bursts to try and get into North and South America. But hold on to your last one just in case you miss an island, because it's pretty hard to get into the islands as well. 595 days, 56% cure progress, 57,804 points, 2 stars. Yeah, I think it's a good scenario. I don't know why it's only getting 3 stars. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but that's not a bad thing. Seems to me that the content is pretty solid, and it should be at least 4, if not 5. That's just a matter of my personal opinion, though. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, then I ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.